wrestling fans, welcome to the One Winged Wrestling Podcast, where two wrestling elitists discuss or review AEW events and wrestling news from around the world. At One Winged Wrestling, our motto is, we go where the elite go. I am your host, Bill Cutbush, and right now I am flying solo. Krishna Denai is not here right now, but he will be joining us after Dynamite. And speaking of that, as you all know by now, what we do here is, I'm going to provide my thoughts and expectations for the coming event tonight, what I hope for, what I think might be good or bad, my potential match of the night. I'm going to go watch the show along with Krishna, and then we'll both return here with you to see if those expectations were met or exceeded. Most importantly, we discover if anything on the show was able to reach that all-important Omega level. Krishna's very fond of saying, well, can anything without Kenny Omega on the show reach it? But I keep reminding him recently that he did in fact declare something at the Omega level not very long ago with no Kenny Omega. But speaking of Kenny Omega, let's get right into keeping up with the elite. Kenny Omega news. Dave Meltzer stated on his radio show this week that Kenny Omega's return is imminent. Now, we've been talking about this for weeks. I've been telling Krishna, hey, he's not coming back yet. They're going to save it for a big moment, right? It's, if it's the 8:30 slot like last week, Krishna got a little down on that slot because, the whole thing with the Undisputed Elite and the breakup, because Kenny Omega didn't show up, but there was no way he was showing up there like I talked about last week. I have a totally different view this week. I have a feeling in a thing that's called Quake by the Lake, and I believe it's coming to us from the very arena where he fought his last match before he went out with his injuries. I have a very strong suspicion that Kenny Omega is actually coming back tonight. I don't know how, and we'll go over the card in a minute. I'm not quite certain. I don't see a spot for him. But as we know, segments can develop behind the scenes, lots of stuff can happen. Who knows how this is going to work out, right? But I do believe that Kenny needs to come back sooner rather than later if he's going to participate in the Trios tournament. There was a very interesting segment on Keeping Up with the Elite this week, too. Because remember, if you recall last week on Dynamite, Hangman Adam Page saved the Young Bucks during the attack by the other members of the Undisputed Elite on the Bucks. So Hangman came out and saved them. There was still some tension. And on Being the Elite this week, right, you saw a couple segments with the Bucks and Hangman. One, it was the Bucks seeing Hangman in an airport, trying to convince Brandon, no, that's not Hangman, that's someone else. But they were unwilling to go talk to him. Then at the end, you see Hangman, he's doing a song and dance number with the Dark Order. During that song and dance number, he talks about, now that the Bucks turning face with him and this kind of stuff. But it sounds like, he's torn between helping out the Bucks in the Trios tournament, or does he stay in the Dark Order's corner because these are the guys that have been in his corner all the time. And then right at the end of the episode, you see someone walk up to the Bucks door. It's Hangman. And it looks like he's going to go in, and that's it. So what is on Hangman's mind? Does he want to help the Bucks? Is he going to go with the Dark Order? Yeah, we don't know, but we're going to find out. And that is one of the things that I think is going to happen on tonight's show. There's a couple injury updates to talk about, too, before I turn to tonight's card. One is Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly may be out longer than we thought. Their condition is apparently slightly worse than Kenny's, so their timetable for their return is longer, according to Dave Meltzer. We also have currently injured Mr. Matt Menard, Magic Matt Menard. He has torn his shoulder, his labrum, and his rotator cuff. These are words right out of his mouth. He is attempting to rehab it right now without surgery, but I don't think we'll see him in very much action in the near future. Hopefully he gets well soon, because the Jericho Appreciation Society is awesome. So with that, I am now going to turn to tonight's card and give you my thoughts and predictions. So right off the bat, we've got FTR Returns to Action. This is good. And I think it's good because it'll be nice to see, one, who are they going to go up against? And two, because I think it'll finally give them something to do, maybe start a new feud. Let's see where it goes. I don't know who I want to see them in a feud with right now because a lot of the other tag teams seem to be quite busy. I mean, the Bucks are looking like a lot of them are looking at the trios thing right now, right? I mean, House of Black is oriented that way. I mean, I feel like there's nobody for FTR to fight. So I'll be really interested to see who they fight. Is it just going to be a job match to give them something to do, just to get them on TV again and remind people they have all these belts? I don't know, but we're going to see, right? Next up, we have the TBS Championship match: Jade Cargill versus the new trainer for the WWE, Madison Rayne. I don't really think Madison Rayne has any chance whatsoever in this match. This is another match that's purely designed to make Jade Cargill look good. It's the first time she's been on TV in a while. Do I think this match is going to be good? No. I don't really like almost anything Jade Cargill does. I don't find her wrestling very good in the ring. I appreciate what they're trying to do with her and her group, and I suppose it's worked to some degree, but not for me. This is just not my style. I like Madison Rayne, but I think her role as a trainer is probably the right place for her now, right? I mean, her days, I think, of being a serious top level competitor are gone, and she can probably play that role now of someone who can, help younger talent. And maybe that's why she's here, right? Maybe she'll be able to help lead Jade through a really good match. I don't know. We'll find out. Then we have Ricky Starks versus the Factory's Aaron Solo. This should be good. Aaron Solo is a good wrestler. Ricky Starks is a good wrestler. My issue with this is I have no doubt in my mind who's going to win. And I also have a bad feeling we're going to see a lot of shenanigans in this match. There's no way Hobbs isn't coming out to interfere, and there's no way Starks isn't going to lose his mind going after Hobbs again. In fact, Hobbs could cost him the victory. I have a bad feeling this might have a little smacking of old WWE booking in it, where, ooh, he gets counted out because of that, and Aaron Solo can declare a victory or something like that. I really hope that's not the route they go with it. I would like to see a clean match between Ricky Starks and Aaron Solo. I don't think that's what I'm going to get. So, yeah, am I looking forward to this? Mostly. But I'm worried. And that's about it. Then we have the Coffin match between Brody King and Darby Allin. This should be good. This is where we start getting into the good matches of the night, because I think this could be a really good match, because you're going to have Brody King just trying to kill Darby Allin again, but Darby Allin seems to pull out these Coffin match victories, right? So there's going to be some trick up his sleeve. It's more hardcore, so he's going to be able to use things to take down Brody King. I think it's going to be creative. I think it's going to be somewhat interesting. We're going to see blood. And I'm going to say Darby Allin wins this match. Not, it's not 100%, but I got a strong feeling Darby Allin's going to come out on top of this match. This is sort of his comeuppance against all he's had to go through with Brody King. Now, that doesn't mean the House of Black isn't going to beat the living tar out of him afterwards, but, we'll see what happens. Then we have a tornado tag match: the Lucha Brothers versus Andrade Idolo and Rush. I look at this match and I just go, oh my God, can I see it right now? This is going to be the match of the night. There isn't a doubt in my mind. You put the Lucha Brothers in there with Andrade Idolo and Rush, and it's like, I cannot wait to see what these guys do in a ring together. I just can't wait. It's going to be spectacular. There's been some hints that Andrade and Rush are not super happy with their placement in AEW right now. There's been some rumors, and I don't put much stock in rumors. If guys aren't happy, guys aren't happy. I would assume all of these guys, I mean, they're professionals. They've wrestled their whole lives to get to where they are right now. If they're not wrestling as often as they like, they're bound to be a little bit unhappy. I could see that. That would be a natural human reaction. Now, are we going to make a big deal out of that? Nah, they're probably just a little disappointed. But, AEW has a super talented roster. A lot of guys get on TV, a lot of guys don't. But you have the same problems at WWE. I mean, just because they went over to the competition doesn't mean they're going to get treated any differently. They are in a spot right now where they can put on some really good matches. Are they front and center showpieces? Well, not right now, but you never know when you're going to be, right? I mean, Darby Allin, he had quite a few weeks there where he wasn't doing a whole lot. At least I didn't feel like I was seeing him all the time. And then recently he's been back in these big profile matches with Brody King. So your time comes. And hey, you're getting to fight the Lucha Brothers tonight, guys. That's pretty darn good. You have the chance to be in tonight's match of the night on the card where Kenny Omega is returning. Finally, we have the AEW Interim World Championship match. Jon Moxley taking on Chris Jericho, the Lionheart Chris Jericho. This should be good. Match of the night? Probably not. But both these guys can go. I mean, I've said in the recent weeks, I have really appreciated what Jon Moxley has done with his wrestling since he came back from rehab. The man is like a new demon possessed. He's going like a bat out of heck. I like his style. There's been some slow moments, sure, but he's hard hitting and vicious and can actually wrestle. I've seen a lot of wrestling added to his stuff that I haven't seen in a long time from Jon Moxley. Chris Jericho's at the top of his game. I mean, the guy's 1 year older than me, and he is at the top of his game. If I was in that kind of shape, I would be like, oh, I don't know what I'd be. It'd just be, whoa, like seriously. So yeah, and as Lionheart Chris Jericho, I'm really interested now. I remember Lionheart Chris Jericho, the last survivor of the Heart Dungeon, right? This is going to be a good match. These guys are going to go at it and at it and at it. I really hope there's no interference. I really hope they just get a chance to go. I think this will be the last match on the card tonight. It's got to be the main event because it's for the World Championship. We'll see what happens. Is this where Kenny Omega makes his appearance? It'd be interesting to see Kenny back in the title picture again, especially if the Bucks are going with Hangman. So we'll see what happens. I don't know where else that Kenny would appear, and I think he's coming back tonight. Does he come out in the FTR segment? Does he come out with a tag team partner to take on FTR? But who would his partner be? Does he bring in someone new with him? I mean, there's been no rumors about that whatsoever, so I kind of doubt it. But man, wouldn't that be intriguing? Maybe he brings someone through the forbidden door. Who knows, right? But we'll see what happens. Maybe Kenny just comes out and cuts a promo about Will Ospreay. Who knows? I just know this looks like a good show, solid show. There's only one match on the whole card that I'm looking at, and I'm looking at you, Jade, Cargill, and Madison Rayne. Only one match I'm like, I don't know. Do I care? The rest of them, these are going to be good. I'm a little worried about shenanigans, but they're going to be good. So, with that said, guys, I'm going to say it once more. Kenny Omega is coming back tonight. Mark my words. When we get on air later, Krishna is going to go insane. With that said, I am going to go watch myself some Dynamite. Krishna will be coming along momentarily, and we'll be back after Dynamite. It'll be like we were never gone. And what do you know? We are in fact back, and I have brought Krishna with me as promised. You no longer just have to listen to me droning on and on.
Hey guys, I found my way back. I didn't go missing, so I'm all good.
This is good. This is good. So you watched Quake by the Lake?
I did watch Quake by the Lake, yes.
I watched Quake by the Lake. Shall we get into some Quake by the Lake?
Let's get into Quake by the Lake.
Which came to us tonight from the Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota. In the booth, we have JR for the whole show again tonight, Excalibur and Taz, and it opens up with Darby Allin versus Brody King in the Coffin match. And we get Brody King's entrance, but Darby just comes out of nowhere and flies at him. It goes right at Brody King with this skateboard with thumbtacks attached to it. He nails Brody King with it, then rubs it on Brody's face, which of course means, guess what? Brody is bleeding. And my God, did this man bleed. He was bleeding like Dustin Rhodes levels of gushers. There was like, he'd fall off the edge of the ring. There was like lines of drip on the ground. There were puddles of blood. It was kind of excessive. But the crowd went ballistic. This crowd, let's give a moment. This crowd tonight, they were just on fire for almost the whole night. They had a couple lulls, but almost every match they were into it. King takes control on the outside. He throws Darby over a table, breaks the skateboard, but Darby's on him, smashes his head into the guardrail and the steps. Darby then does an avalanche code red to Brody that was just nuts off the top rope. Brody is leaking blood, like I said. Brody slams Darby into the guardrail, big chop. He ragdolls Darby around the guardrails, right next to Kip Sabian, who played zero role on tonight's show. He did a senton to Darby on the floor. He gets a table. And this fan, I don't know if you saw this, but that female fan they showed who was just going nuts. Like, this was the greatest thing that ever happened in her life. Brody Lee took out a table. And then he got a second table, but they didn't show the woman again because she was probably too ballistic at this point. King goes through the table because Darby moves, of course, because King was setting up like two tables. I don't know, he just kept pulling
Yeah,
tables out. Anyway, Darby was about to do a tope, but the lights go out. Buddy and Malachi, Buddy Murphy, who is back, and Malachi Black. So that's our first return tonight. Remember, I promised you guys returns tonight.
that's
That's all I'm going
right.
to say. Buddy Murphy and Malachi Black are guarding Brody King. Julia Hart stops Darby by grabbing his leg, and Buddy just takes him apart. They set up a table in the corner. Malachi holds Darby Black against this propped up table, and Brody cannonballs Darby right through the table in a spot that just looked absolutely vicious. At this point, the fans start chanting for Sting. So Buddy goes to a coffin that was open before, but now is mysteriously closed. But apparently, everyone's surprised that Sting is inside it. I was not surprised that Sting was inside the coffin. He has a baseball bat. He takes it to Buddy. He takes it to Brody. Then he throws the bat to Malachi, who picks it up, wheels it around him, drops it, and just walks off.
Mm-hmm.
Sting follows him. That's the end of them. So Darby does a tope to Brody by the coffin. Brody fights back, slams Allin on the steps, opens the coffin. He sets up Darby for a power bomb off the apron to put him in the coffin, but Darby hits him in the head with Brody's own chain, chokes him down with the chain in a scene somewhat similar to how, Brody first choked Darby in that battle royal.
Yep.
So Brody goes out and conveniently goes out and rolls into the coffin. The lid closes. Darby Allin wins. What did you think, Krishna?
I was shocked that this match was first. You know what I mean? It was so violent. There was so much blood to open up the show with. But yeah, no, this match it was it was good. What confused me was it was so brutal. And then when the Dark Order, when House of Black comes out and starts just attacking Darby, like they were beating him up for a while, quite a while. So what was the plan here, Sting? You were just going to wait until they killed him? Is that what you're trying to do? Like what if no one opened the casket, right? Like
He's just lying there. Someone will open it eventually, right, guys? Right, right.
This pop is gonna be amazing, right? But like, I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Is this really what's happening? Um, but yeah, I had said last week, I think I was like, maybe the casket match turned into like Darby Allin's thing. He doesn't lose ever.
Mm-hmm.
And it carries on. I think this was a good match for their little feud they've been having. Like Darby's just been getting destroyed. Brody King took a beating tonight too. Like
Oh
when he
yeah.
had his hands on the ground and he moved it, it was covered in blood. So
Mm-hmm.
that obviously with the thumbtacks, obviously, that came out. And I was just like, wow, they really AEW. We talked about this. Like, you know, the blood. It's not something I care about. Like really, I don't really. I can, if you
Mm-hmm.
have a great match, I don't need blood at all. I get why it was in this match. And I enjoyed this match. It was brutal. This match was brutal. Like these guys were fighting each other. Like and I like the little story of like last week when Darby was saying, Brody, I was the one that told Tony to bring you in here, right? Kind
Mm-hmm.
of bringing reality into the actual storyline. Um, but I enjoyed the fact that because they kept saying this is going to end the feud between Darby and thing. No, but like it did its job. Like Darby got a win, right? No, after
Mm-hmm.
being choked out, and anything else, like Darby got this win. He again, Darby Allin. I don't know what death wish this kid has, to be honest with you. Like just the
Mm-hmm.
way that he like you see the part where King threw him to the barricades and he flew over and I was like, are you
Yeah.
kidding me? You're backlanded on the barricades. Like that isn't like you there's no way you block that, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, this match got the crowd hyped, and it was quick, and it was fast. There wasn't any rest holds, and we'll talk about rest holds later on.
Mm.
And I you know what, I really enjoy this match. Not my match of the night, because to me it's, I really enjoy these matches. I enjoy the story told. Um, but it's still not my match of the night. I'm reserving that for another match. But I really did enjoy this match.
Yeah, it was, hey, I loved it too. It was
Mhm,
great. I had a good time watching it. The beat downs were like on both sides, I mean,
mhm,
both of them went at each other and they
mhm.
both played their role really well. Brody King came across as like an unstoppable big guy. Darby Allin was like the kid that never gives up, he's
Yep.
he's the Moomin Rider of AEW. Never stops, gets
Get
up.
out of here,
Yeah.
Moomin Rider.
It's my new favorite guy, man. Yeah. So anyway, Darby Allin. No, seriously, they both played the roles really well.
Mhm.
I enjoyed it a lot. Not my match of the night either. The Sting stuff took away from it a bit for me. Like that actually brought the match down a bit. Like, look,
Yeah.
Sting is having a good run. Okay, I get it. He's done his dives, he's done his thing, but I'm kind of tired of like Mr. Super tough guy that no one can stand up to who no sells
Yeah,
everything
Mr. No
Sting.
Cell. That's
Yeah,
I was
I'm
about to
I'm
say.
I'm
Mr. No
tired of
Cell.
it. I'm tired of it.
Yeah, I
So
agreed.
Sting, listen, I love you. I respect you.
You're awesome.
Maybe play a role that's more in line with where you should be, but you should not be no selling Malachi Black. I'm just saying you should not be no selling Malachi Black. You are not a match for him,
Yep.
period, ever in any
You're not a
universe.
match.
So yeah, anyway, good match, not the match of the night, but a wonderful way to start the show. So
Agreed.
yes.
Agreed. Again, shocking way to start the show. I didn't
Mm,
expect what I got from this match.
right. I did expect the next thing. It was a Mox promo.
Yeah,
And he says, I was thinking, since you're coming at me with the interim every 2 seconds, we have the FTW belt. What if we call this the FYI belt? This was forged in Cincinnati and Piccadilly. Just like the famed Heart Dungeon, this championship is about pain and what you can endure. For 2 decades, we watched the last survivor of the Heart Dungeon, Chris Jericho, his fighting spirit on display. Tonight, I'm going to test it, push it to its breaking point. And Chris, if your fighting spirit doesn't break, your body will.
yep. You know what? As I said the other week, I was like, it's like a generic Mox promo. I like this promo this week. Simple, quick. It was fast. It was him just building up the match. Asking once again, talking about Stu Hart and the dungeon, and him wanting Lionheart and stuff like that. What he was going to do to him. Yeah. So it was building up the match. I thought it was good.
Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah.
I found the whole thing about the FTW belt. We'll call this the FYI belt.
I got confused when you
What?
said that. I was like, for your information, belt?
Yeah, I'm like, what does this
I
mean? I
don't
mean,
I
is there
don't
some
know.
reference I'm not getting? It was forged in Cincinnati and Piccadilly. It's like,
I
okay,
don't
great. That's
know.
wonderful. I don't understand what you're talking about, Mox, but I know you're from Cincinnati, and I guess Piccadilly is probably a neighborhood. The only Piccadilly I know is the neighborhood in London, England. Anyway, yeah, good job. Typical Mox promo. And
Yeah.
yeah, after the commercial, it's countered with a Jericho promo who says, after 2.5 years, tonight Chris Jericho takes back what's rightfully his. I'll beat you, Mox. Why? You wanted to face Lionheart, the last survivor of the Heart Dungeon. Stu was vicious, violent, a sadist. The pain he put me through, I never wanted to feel again until tonight. You talk about bleeding in the ring, but what I do to you won't be so easily fixed. I'm going to twist the bleep out of you. I will be the next AEW champion. I guarantee it.
Okay, so I was thinking about what to say here because the match itself is still stuck in my head. That's why I'm trying to like figure out what to say. Again, a good build up to the match. It puts like it makes you expect a lot. You know what I mean? Like it makes
Mm-hmm.
you be like, okay. Like we obviously know Stu Hart, not personally, but we know Stu Hart.
Yeah.
We understand what Bret Hart, Owen Hart, and all the wrestlers who went through the dungeon went through.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We've watched Wrestling with Shadows and all the stuff, like just the screams and yells that come out of the dungeon, right? I expected things like that, right? So
Right.
so I got hyped. I'm like, oh my god, what's Jericho gonna pull out here? Like, what's gonna happen? So
Hmm.
it did its job. It got me hyped for the match.
Yep. Yeah, I was hyped for the match too. I'm like, ooh, this could be very
Yeah,
different.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, there's and we'll talk about this a little later.
Mm-hmm.
There's times when you might hype yourself up just a little
A
bit too
little
much
too
for things,
much.
right?
It's the same thing.
Yep, so sometimes that can happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Chris Jericho, I have a lesson for you. Don't guarantee something because sometimes you can't deliver.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I refer to my comments before we went to Dynamite. But like let's go back to those times because look, before we went out, I guaranteed Kenny Omega was showing up tonight.
You did.
I did. I would like to point out that I am in a way not wrong because
You're
next
not
they
wrong.
announced the brackets for the AEW
Yes.
Trios Championship. Let's have a look at this for a minute. Okay,
Okay.
we need to take a minute and have a look at this Trios World Championship. We have in the upper right corner, we
Mm-hmm.
have House of Black, makes sense, taking on Dark Order. Okay, that's great, right? And as we find out later, Hangman's going to be in Dark Order's corner. Then we have Trustbusters versus Best Friends. Okay.
It's like, all right.
Okay, so House of Black is clearly coming out that side because they only have to beat Dark Order, Trustbusters, and Best Friends. Like, really? Okay, so it's going to be a House of Black versus. Now, the left side is where it's really, really, really interesting
Mm-hmm.
because at the top we have Death Triangle taking on Will Ospreay and Aussie Open. When I saw Will Ospreay's name on this bracket, I freaked out.
Agreed. And that's why I was confused. I was like, why are they on that side? Why are we on that side? Okay.
Right. And I'll tell you why we're on that
All
side.
right. I want to
There,
hear
yeah.
this.
And then we have La Faccion Ingobernales
Mm-hmm.
taking on the Young Bucks and their mystery partner,
Mm-hmm.
who is not Hangman Page. We have Will Ospreay on one half and this quote mystery partner that can only be Kenny Omega on the other side because they also ditched Brandon Cutler.
Well, I mean, they always ditch Brandon, right? Always.
Yeah,
So
so
I
maybe
mean,
maybe
it's
he
not.
should join the best friends. He might fit in better there. But anyway, yeah, no, so we have this situation where you've been
Mm-hmm.
talking for weeks about
Mm-hmm.
Osprey and Kenny,
Mm-hmm.
and
Very
look
true.
what we're getting lined up.
I I just talk about the bracket to start off
Yeah.
with. Didn't expect that. That's one thing that I was like that was the first shocker of the evening. We'll talk
Mm-hmm.
about the last shocker later on. Um, but yeah, that part I didn't because I remember we talked about this. We're like, yeah, Will, he's a little bit busy right now. He's not gonna be back in AEW for a while. Well, things have changed apparently, and Will is actually
Yes.
going to be back in WWE in AEW very shortly. Some might
Yes.
say imminently. So,
Yes, imminently. Well, the G1's still going
it
on,
is
so
still
he
going on,
he
yeah.
is still busy over there. But at last check, and I didn't check again today, so I
Hmm.
haven't totally caught up. But
Hmm.
at last check, just a couple days ago, he was 2-2 now.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, okay.
Yeah, doesn't mean he's out of it because they mess around with the standings and stuff and these
Hmm.
things. But right now, he's 2-2 in his division, so he's falling a little bit. He went out 2-0, and now he's down to 2-2. So if he doesn't win this tournament, and he's probably not going to, that kind of frees him up for other stuff.
Well, and that's the thing, right? It's exciting. Like I was thinking, like this upcoming pay per view may be AEW's biggest pay per view of the year. Like
Hmm.
just in general, AEW's biggest pay per view of the year. Like not taking anything away from any of the other pay per views that they've had, but this card is getting a bit stacked here. Unlike when we were talking about Forbidden Door, when we were like, oh my god, who's going to be fighting with Forbidden Door kind of thing, right?
Right.
People haven't like matches. So far, what we have one confirmed match
Hmm.
for the pay per view, but everything else that we're seeing right now, this card is getting stacked. So yeah, I was shocked by the bracket. I did not expect it, and we'll talk about the Andrade what did they call again?
La
The
Faccion and
Yeah,
Gobernables.
yeah, we'll talk about them later on. But I'm excited. I'm very, very, very like look at this. They remember the first time you talked about we talked about trios belts. You were like, in New Japan they have trios belts, but they're not like they're just kind of thrown to the side. These are looking to be pretty big belts that are coming to AEW.
Yes, indeed. And that's going to be kind of awesome because we have a
Mm-hmm.
lot of, especially once you come out of the like the right side, I think it's pretty much a given who's going to win. The left side, a little more up in the air. Like I think we're going to end up with, United Empire versus the Elite in the semifinals.
I really do think, and again, I hate that I get told we get told as a work don't solution, but I'm solutioning here. I'm giving you guys what I think is going to happen already. So wait, have we even gotten? Did we talk about the Young Bucks yet, or are we getting to them?
We're getting to them.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
we'll
gonna
get there.
pause what I'm about to say
Okay.
till then, but let's continue. Sorry.
Okay, so would you like me then to let me see what I mean, what's going to happen next is, in fact, the Faction Ingobernables match
Perfect.
and then the Bucks promo. Did
Let's
you
do
want to
it.
return to this after the Bucks promo?
Yeah, let's return to this after the Bucks promo.
Okay, well let's move on then, and we'll talk about the implications of these
Mm-hmm.
brackets after the Bucks promo. So anyway, after they announce this, then El Faccion Ingobernables comes out. That's Andrade, El Idolo, and Rush, and they're facing the Lucha Brothers in a tornado tag. This is the first time that Andrade and Rush have tagged together in 7 years.
Yep.
So Penta has also gone back to his Lucha roots. He's not Penta Oscuro in this match. He's his Lucha Penta.
Thank God.
So, LFI dominates the match pretty early. Rush flips Ray into the buckles hard. Um, but Phoenix soon tope suicida to Roosh, then a tope con hero to Roosh, and then a maiden penta slam. Penta gets that on Roosh for the 2 count. Andrade stops a double team fear factor, kicks Ray off the top rope, slams Ray onto Penta, double covers for 2. In case you hadn't noticed, this match went 100 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just going to get a whole bunch of stuff
Yeah.
that happened from me. Rush and Andrade do over the rope diving sentons to the outside. Andrade DDTs Penta on a chair on the floor where Rush chokes down Ray with a cable. This was during the commercial break. They beat down the Lucha Brothers for quite a while on the outside, but lots of good double teams. It's not like a slow beatdown or anything. They kind of take them
Mm-hmm.
apart.
Mm-hmm.
Penta comes back though with a Cazadora DDT on Rush. Ray rope jumps to DDT on Andrade. Backstabber, Cazadora to a splash, 2 count. Ray goes off Penta's shoulders with a splash for 2. This was insane. Penta and Phoenix then a double tope con hero. There was a frog splash attempt by Ray that was countered by Andrade, but then Andrade kicks Rush accidentally, but Rush come back and kicks Penta. Andrade does the double knees into Phoenix. Phoenix goes off the ropes. Rush catches a power bomb, but Penta cutter on Rush. All 4 are down. Yeah, so you're getting the hint. It's just 1,000 moves,
Insane.
100 miles an hour. It's nuts. So hard to keep up. Penta does his destroyer to Andrade on the apron. Penta goes for the fear factor to Rush on the apron, but that gets blocked. Andrade knocks Ray off the rope into a Rush knee strike. Rush ties Penta's mask to the ropes. This is where it changes because now Penta he's struggling. His mask is
Mm-hmm.
tied. So Rush does a shotgun missile drop kick to Ray, pile driver to Ray, but Penta comes in for the save, having pulled his own mask off and is covering his face. Alex tried to get him a spare mask, but Andrade throws that mask into the crowd. Felix does a roll for 2. Andrade starts beating on Ray again while the fans are chanting at the guy with the mask, throw it back. But apparently the mask never comes back. I guess the guy wanted the Lucha Brothers to lose. Rush does the bullhorns to Phoenix and just looks like he killed him. Andrade then hits the El Idolo, and La Faccion Ingobernables gets the 3 count and enter the trios tournament with Dragon Lee, Rush's
Mm-hmm.
brother. What'd you
So,
think?
so if you know me, you know that these are my type of matches, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and this I think had my match of the night written all over it from the beginning. Like, I am very impressed with what I've seen from Roosh. Like, of course I haven't seen him wrestle a lot, but what I've seen from him in his singles matches he's had, and everything like that, he is absolutely fantastic. And with Andrade, come on, man! Like, I mean, what an awesome tag team these two. Ray Phoenix has been, uh, I guess, kind of like touted as one of those wrestlers who is very stiff. And for anyone listening, what that means is that when you when you get hit by Phoenix, you get hit by Phoenix, right? Roosh, I don't know if he pulls anything, to be completely honest. Some of those kicks, those drop kicks he was giving people, I was like, are you trying to kill Ray Phoenix? Are you trying to kill Penta? Like they looked dangerous. And I was like, whoa, like remember we talked about the Darby Allin match and how realistic that match was and how much blood there was. This match was absolutely insane, right? With levels of destruction without any blood,
Mhm.
without any blood to it, right? It didn't need it. It had the wrestling. And you're right, the tag team moves. They actually had tag team moves that they were doing, right? Working together. Everything flowed. It made it made so much sense. It was so fast that you were reacting to one move while they were doing something else in the ring, right?
Try
I
typing the notes.
yeah, I loved this match. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. My match of the night. Like I easily my match of the night. But I have to give credit to the first match. I really, really, really enjoyed the first match. But this match, holy crap, right? Like if they wanted to show me that this new faction and this new tag stable or the new team, wow, they look dangerous. Absolutely dangerous, right? So this bracket, whew, like again, going back to the trios bracket, it is stacked. And again, I just loved this match.
Yep. Yeah, I said in the pre-show, my match of the night will be this one.
Nice.
I was right. This
Yep.
was my match of the night for all the reasons you just said. Fast, amazing tag team moves, so much going on. Just
Yeah,
hard hitting, some
I know.
amazing combinations. Just so much going on. No need for blood at all. This was
No.
this was this was hard hitting lucha libre at its best. And
Yeah.
that is something I love watching. And you're right. Roosh just looks like he kills people in the ring. But I mean, all of them, like it just,
Yeah.
they're all four guys with a level of skill that is
Hmm.
unbelievable.
Yep.
All right.
Agreed.
I could watch these four go at it forever. Like, you want to fight forever? Yeah,
Fight
go
for,
ahead. Yeah.
I was about to say, if one match deserved a fight forever chance, it was this one.
Yes, absolutely. This one deserved the fight forever chant. This was a very good match.
Yeah.
Glad I saw it. Match of the night for both of us. There you go.
And this is where AEW excels. They destroy WWE in any type of tag team matches,
Yep.
right? And
Yep.
and yeah, again, as I'm just psyched.
Well, like I said last week, the area we don't have to worry about is work rate. In
Yeah, you're
AEW,
right.
there are
You're
so many styles, so many people. They all get to work their styles, as we find out in the main event. Everyone gets to work their styles, and
right.
yeah. Anyway,
Let's
so
move
after
on.
this, we get the Bucks, and they walk into the Dark Order dressing room. And some of the Dark Order's, oh, did you want us to leave? Like, no, no, you guys stay. They tell Brandon to keep the camera on because they want the whole world to see this. And so he said, thanks for saving our butts last week, talking to Hangman. You didn't have to do that. The world has seen how we treated you. We're not proud of it. If we could take back what we did, we would. The favorite time in my career was when the whole gang was together, running, gunning, doing this thing, building a revolution called All Elite Wrestling. But we got here and it got weird. I don't know if it was money, TV time, fame. I got weird. I got selfish. I'm sorry. I mean that. We're in this building. This is where you won the world title. I was so proud of you. I couldn't even get up the courage to man up and say that to you, but you were the elite right there. I really wish I could have enjoyed the journey more than the destination. I don't know what I am. The internet trolls say we're despicable. Maybe they're right. But I know one thing. You bring out the good in us. We want to ask you if you'll be our trios partner. No one can stop the Hung Bucks one last time. So after that impassioned speech, Hangman says, I'm sorry, guys. I would love to, but I can't. I know you said when I won the world title, you would tell me congrats, but these guys were there and told me congrats. They've been there for me. With this trios tournament, this is their chance. I should have their back. I'll be in their corner. I can't be on their team too. I'm sorry. If you're going to have a partner, it should be someone who never turned their back on you. So the Bucks are kind of upset and they leave. And Brandon says, I think Hangman might have been talking about me. Shut up, Brandon. Turn off the camera.
Kudos to Brandon. Freaking hilarious.
Yep.
Yeah, one thing I like about AEW is they are so self-aware, right? The
Hmm.
whole comment about TV time, right? Things have been like obviously if you've been following wrestling news, a lot of wrestlers arguing about TV time and so forth, and the Bucks call it out. I appreciate this was okay. So was a good segment, and I appreciate a lot of things that happened with it because I appreciate the fact that Hangman did turn them down,
Hmm.
but the reason he gave for it, these guys stood behind me regardless. And I was like, you know what? Okay, I had a feeling like, man, is Hangman really gonna toss the Dark Order aside like that? Like after everything they've done for him? And AEW, I'm happy that you didn't pull a WWE. I'm happy that you actually went ahead and continued that storyline. And Hangman saying, I'm not going to be in the tournament because I can't be in the tournament and be supporting these guys at the same time. So I'm like, perfect. And if you if you watch Being the Elite
Yeah.
this
Yeah, I talked
past
about
week,
it in the
Hang,
intro. Yeah.
Hangman telling the Dark Order that the four of them can be the best trios tag team.
You know, but he also went on the whole, now that they're face, and he has
Yeah,
that little moment where he does the little
yeah,
soliloquy song.
yeah.
Yeah, but then, he says, I can't turn my back on my guys.
And I appreciate that. I
Mhm.
really do appreciate that. Um, so it's smart also keeping like the Bucks face are good. Like the Bucks' faces are good,
Mhm.
but their heels are so much better. Here's the problem though. There's no way Kenny Omega is coming back as a heel. There's no way fans are gonna boo this guy at all. He can be a heel. He can pretend to be a heel. It's gonna be one of those things where they're trying to get like if WWE ever tried to get people to hate John Cena or John Cena to turn heel, people
Yep.
would still cheer him on. That's what I feel is gonna happen with Kenny Omega,
Yeah.
regardless, right?
But the Bucks aren't heels. They got beaten down by Red Dragon last
They
week.
they
And
did.
look. Okay, let's take this
Yeah,
moment to look at that tournament bracket,
yeah,
right? Because
yeah.
look, I like this promo too for all the
Hmm.
reasons you said. It
Hmm.
sets everything up. But what I find most intriguing now is what it does with the tournament. Because there's no way their tag partner now is not Kenny Omega.
Oh
Okay,
no,
it is going to
100%,
be the Young Bucks and
100%
Kenny Omega, who will be back next week. I
next week.
double guarantee. I'm doubling down. Kenny Omega will be here next week.
Yeah,
100% chance.
yeah.
Well, doesn't he have to be? Isn't their match next
Their
week?
match is next week. He
Well, yeah,
has to
then
be
he's
here
going
next
to be
week,
there. So
unless
there
it's
you
Brandon
go.
Cutler.
It could be. Unless it's Brandon Cutler and then they just toss him and go, no, we actually found someone better. But anyway, however it happens, Kenny's back. But look at the matches. La Faccion and Ingobernables. Those are heels, right?
They're
I mean,
heels.
it's
They're
it's
heels.
100% heels. There's no way they're not going to be cheering the Elite versus those guys. Okay,
Yeah,
a returning Kenny Omega with the Young Bucks.
yeah.
I mean, they're going to be cheered out of the building,
Oh yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
And against United Empire. Will Ospreay and his gang play great heels. Okay. And they're going to be healing up this whole thing with Kenny and Will. This is what I think is going to happen. Here's what I was talking about the booking. So now that we
Hmm.
know it's going to be Kenny Omega with the
Hmm.
Bucks, they're
Hmm.
going to take on United Empire.
Hmm.
They will beat United Empire.
Oh yeah, guaranteed.
Will Ospreay is going to cost them the trios title.
Okay, you know what? And you're right. That might be happening. So continue with with your thought. I have my own thought on this one as
Yeah,
well.
well, he's going to cost them the trios title, which is going to set up the Kenny Will feud.
Interesting.
And the House of Black gets the trios titles because they should have the trios titles.
So this is what I think is gonna happen. Dark Order is going forward, and I think Dark Order is gonna win. And this is why. This is why. Long-term storytelling. Do you think Kenny forgot about the approval the Bucks gave to Hangman to beat him for that belt? Also,
Mm.
also Hangman's little comment, you guys should be tagging with someone who's never turned their back on you. But the Bucks turned their back on
Kenny.
Kenny. So I
Mm-hmm.
have a feeling Kenny is going to cost the Bucks the trios championship, right? Because it could be him just like my thoughts are he comes back as face
Mm-hmm.
with the Bucks, but then turns with the Bucks. Now I don't know how that works out because with Red Dragon out of it, maybe they do want to continue the United Empire storyline, but you know I think yours might work better just for like what's happening soon, right? Sooner than later. I just have a feeling that are they going to ignore that? Right?
You
And you
could be
brought this up.
right.
You brought this up before as well. You're like,
Hmm.
do you think Kenny is going to ignore the fact of what happened at that last
Right.
match?
Right. And it could be then that this gets constantly pointed out by Will Ospreay,
Mm-hmm. Yup.
right? These guys you're tagging with turned their backs on you. And it's the kind of thing where when Kenny costs them the match, Will comes out and cuts a promo that's like, I told you so, you're just a bitch.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, and then that sets up their feud. So there's a way you could do this that still gives you the Kenny Will feud, gets Kenny and the Bucks with problems, which maybe they'll fix up because maybe the Bucks will be like, yeah, blah blah blah, or Kenny gets
He's
it.
right.
I
Yep.
don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they fix it, maybe they don't. And then the Dark Order becomes the first trios champions
Mm-hmm.
with
I feel
Hangman
like
saying, this was your time, you guys did
yeah.
it, and he gets to congratulate them.
And that's the thing. Like I feel like the Dark Order are due to for something, right? Because they wouldn't make them such like some like because Tony Khan obviously loves them and the fans love them as well, right? And they'll be getting more TV time and so forth. So I have a feeling there's something up with that. But
Mm-hmm.
that being said, we could be totally wrong. And what can happen is the Elite just wins the entire the entire trios championship because as Tony Khan said, I will not release the trios championships until Kenny Omega comes back. Now, are you bringing Kenny Omega back just for him to lose it,
Yes,
or
because they now have a number of other people involved in creative besides Tony Khan,
oh yeah, that's
who
right.
apparently is becoming rather exhausted.
Well, yeah, yeah, I can see that. Well,
Yeah,
we did see Pat Buck today, so
that's true. That's true. We did. And speaking of that, after this promo,
Mhm.
Jungle Boy comes out for commentary.
Yep.
And then Luchasaurus comes out and he's taking on the giant Anthony Henry. And by giant, I mean not a giant. So Henry goes right after Luchasaurus. I mean, kudos to the guy, right? He had the heart of Moomin Rider here for a moment. And then Luchasaurus Germans him. Luchasaurus no sells an Insigiri, headbutt, fossilizer 3. Super fast squash. Christian appears on the screen. He goes, "Hey, impressive win, Luchasaurus. Now, Jungle Boy, I was going to come out and slap the crap out of you, but I decided the people of Minneapolis don't deserve to see me in person." They boo, and he says, "See, that's why. Besides, I'm having way too much fun." But Jungle Boy gets up. He goes, "I know where this guy is," because he's like back in the interview
Mhm.
spot. So
Yeah.
Jungle Boy goes tearing into the back room, but security holds back Jungle Boy. Christian gets away. Luchasaurus comes in, destroys the security guard, but then headbutts Pat Buck.
Mhm.
He's
Mhm.
put his hands on a
Unofficial.
non-combatant, as JR and them point
Yep.
out, and Christian gets away.
Yep. Yep, and I mean the match was a squash match, right? At least the workhorsemen got to be on TV for a little bit,
Hey,
right?
they got some TV time.
They got some TV time,
Yeah.
what everyone's complaining about.
Mhm.
The match itself, again, it was a squash match, so it did its job. I just think it's funny this little thing that's happening between Christian and Jungle Boy. When Jungle Boy leaped on screen, holy crap! That person who caught him, wow! I was like, wow, this guy, like he's throwing his all into this feud with Christian.
Mhm.
So it is going to come to blows as we could probably assume at the pay per view. Let's be real here.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. And it's you know what, like Jungle Boy is amazing. Christian is Christian. He's gonna do what he can, but with a match like Jungle Boy is gonna carry that match, and it's gonna be a great match. So I think it's doing the job. The one thing though is still Luchasaurus coming out to his Kane entrance,
Yeah.
still dressed in black and everything like that, not changing. I Something's up. I feel that the heel turn is coming, and Jungle Boy's gonna get beaten by Christian because of Luchasaurus. That it's I think it's imminent. I think it's like there's if it wasn't gonna happen, Luchasaurus would have went back. Luchasaurus should have been coming out to the Jungle Boy music and everything like that. Something is up here. Something is
Yeah,
up.
it's a little odd. It's a
Yeah.
little odd. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I mean,
Mhm.
you could be right. I kind of am in the middle with this because it flipped back and forth enough that I'm kind of like, what are they going to do with
Yeah.
Luchasaurus? You know, did
Yeah.
they just leave him in the black mask for kicks because someone forgot and maybe he just likes the black mask? I don't know. Did he
AEW
take the
never does anything by accident. That's what we've learned, right?
most of the time?
Most of the
Maybe he
time.
has the black mask because he's mocking Malachi Black. He's like, look, I have a mask that is what the name of your
Oh.
finishing move should be, and not just spinning heel kick. Anyway, then we go to Miro, and he says, Malachi, you put me through changes. You dragged me into the dark. But then I saw hell was empty because all the devils are here. Then you see Julia Hart come out and she says to him, embrace the gift, give into it like I did. And Miro says, there's only one woman who can touch the Redeemer, and you are not her. Tell the pagans I accept their gift and will use it to destroy the House of Black. I will destroy them. This is the word of the Redeemer.
Yeah, he said that the path to redemption is through the House of Black, and I was like,
Yes,
that
yes.
is awesome. Um, first of all, I laughed a little bit when Julia Hart showed up in his promo.
Yes.
What's Julia Hart doing here? Is this confirmation he's joining the House of Black? But it was just her to say, kind of join us, right? And he's like, the House of Black, the redemption is through the House of Black. I'm like, maybe he should have like choked her out or something like that. That probably
That's
would have
not
went over
his
well.
gimmick. That's
Yeah,
someone else's gimmick.
yeah. Yes, sorry, yes. But I mean, I mean, like, I'm surprised he didn't do anything. You know what I mean? Like,
No.
WWE, he would have probably super kicked her or something like that. But I mean, like I get Miro. Miro has morals. You know, he's
Mhm.
not going to beat down a defenseless woman like that. He's going through the House of Black. He wants Malachi Black. Yeah. So first of all, this is awesome. He's got to go through all of the members of House of Black, right? This is my assumption. And I think we briefly touched on it like when we talked about the opening match, but hey, Buddy Matthews is back. Like we're talking about returns. I was like, wait a minute, is that Buddy Matthews over there? And so he's back too. So I'm all in for this. So I'm wondering how they're gonna play this out. Like, will they like normal wrestling tropes? Will they have like Malachi, not Malachi, Miro, man, Miro, Malachi. I'm gonna mix up these two names all the time now. Will they have Miro go through like a gauntlet to get to Malachi, or is just gonna be like Miro versus Malachi at the pay per view? That's it, kind of thing, right? I'm very interested, obviously, because these two are awesome. I think something about Miro's wrestling recently hasn't clicked for me, but Malachi's looked absolutely flawless when I see him in the ring. So, you know, I can tell they're going to have a great match. But very interesting promo. I really thought he was going to join them because if you'd noticed right away, the thing on his eye was gone. And when I saw that, I'm like, oh, wait, where's the thing on his eye? And I'm like, oh, I see what's happening here. I
Yeah.
get it. Right. So, yeah. What do you think? What do you think of it?
Yeah, I don't know. And it's the thing, like you nailed it with the wrestling, right? Because I'm like, okay, so he's gonna have matches against the guys in the House of Black. I'm like, but I want to see the House of Black fight people who wrestle differently than Miro.
Agreed.
Like, I'm more interested in that. And it's like, I just feel like Miro being the Redeemer, it's almost like he has to win against the House of Black, but House of Black needs a win.
They need a big win. Agreed.
So I'm like, are you just gonna have them torn apart again? I don't understand the point to this. They win stuff, but they don't get anywhere. They're kind of like almost stagnant in a way. They keep getting all these like mid-card groups and stuff that they take apart, but they're not actually winning anything.
Yeah.
They need
Yeah.
gold. They need something to put them on top because these three guys are amazing together.
Hmm.
And now
Hmm.
Brody King, let's hope he's done with Darby Allin, but it looks like
Yeah.
Sting's not done with Malachi Black. So what are we gonna get? Like, okay, so let's assume for a second you're right, and Dark Order is going to be the trios that goes through, which means at the pay-per-view, what are we getting? Malachi Black versus Sting? Like
I hope not. I hope not.
Miro taking on Brody King or something?
I
Like,
hope not.
yeah,
I
I
don't
hope not too. I don't want to see either one of those matches
know.
with the House of Black. I want to see the House of Black doing
Yeah.
something, not just fighting all these like mid card people. Oh, the road to somewhere is through you guys. I need to go somewhere else, and you're just in my way, right? Like, oh, okay, Miro, that's great. I really hope you learn to wrestle as well as you cut promos, because you know your wrestling is becoming close to Wardlow level,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm a little bit tired of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to put your action where your words are. Great
Agreed.
promos, wrestling,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So okay, Miro, enough promos. Let's see something, right?
Yep.
That's kind of how I'm feeling about it. Speaking of promos, Hobbs is backstage with Mark Henry, but our favorite guy, QT Marshall, interrupts, and he's got most of the factory with him, and he tells Hobbs, "Hey, don't worry about Ricky Starks. Aaron Solo is going to pick up the crumbs. We'll take care of Starks for you, because no one says no to us." And Hobbs says to him on the way up, "Don't let your problem become
Become
mine."
mine. Yeah. That was actually pretty cool. I like that comment from Hobbs. I like what
Yeah.
they're doing to him. First off, Nick Camarado looking like a different man back there with his his shaved beard and the
Oh
hat he's
yeah.
wearing. I was like,
Yep.
wait a minute, is that Nick Camarado over
Yep.
there? Right. So shout out to Nick Camarado. Like, you looking different, and it looks like he's having more fun with his character now. So I'm glad. And the factory, you know what? They're a bunch of like jobber like idiots, and
Hmm.
I like little factions like that because
Yep.
they do their job, and honestly, like they're hilarious at it, right?
Yep.
And it's unfortunate because like Aaron Solo's a really good wrestler, right? It's just that he just obviously just doesn't get, like, he's on Dark and everything like that, doesn't really get a
Hmm.
lot of TV time. But anyways, um, great promo. It
Yep.
it kind of like it's always like QT Marshall's trying to recruit more people. It's just hilarious. Um,
Yep.
but yeah, no, I thought it was funny.
Yeah, I mean, we had three guys running around tonight trying to recruit people. QT Marshall, what's his name? Stokely and
Yeah, Stokely
Hari
happened.
Davari. And we'll get to all of them later. Anyway, next up, speaking of some of these people, Jay Lethal and Sanjay Dutt and Satnam Singh come to the ring now. And I'm like, oh, we're getting them again?
That's what
Um,
thought. Yeah, I thought the same thing. Like, hey, what are these guys doing here?
I know. I'm like, really? And so Sanjay Dutt says, "Hey, did you guys see Battle of the Belts 3? We did to Wardlow the unthinkable. Satnam Singh choke slammed him through a table. Wardlow, you might think we're done with you, but we're not done by a long shot." Jay says, "We sent a message. Either defend the TNT Championship versus me one more time, or B, we come find you and take it anyway." So Wardlow comes out and he says, "You want another shot at this? You got it. But tonight I'm whipping all three of your asses." And he gets joined by FTR. So the three of them
Awesome.
charge out to the
FDR, yeah.
ring. Sanjay's crew bails. They look for a weapon under the ring but can't find it, so they just
Yeah.
decide to run in. And then there's a big rig to Lethal, and FTR and Wardlow are like, "Yay, we're awesome!" in the ring.
Yeah. FDR is awesome. That's all. I mean, like I don't care about Jay Lethal and his cronies here. Like Satnam Singh and Sanjay Dutt. Like, come on, guys. Like, why are you even on TV right now? Right? Go, like, stick to Rampage. That's where you belong. If you guys were on Rampage, I wouldn't care. I would
Dark
not care at all.
Elevation.
Yeah, or Elevation. Yeah, but I guess people want to see Satnam Singh, right? And I hate to say that because Jay Lethal's amazing.
Mhm.
Didn't Jay Lethal just come off a huge win over Orange Cassidy?
Yes.
And now this is what he's doing right now, kind of going
Did,
back
did,
and
did
forth
you
with
just say
Wardlow.
people want to see Satnam Singh? Are you
No,
sure about
Jay
that?
Lethal. No,
No.
okay, okay. People like Giants. People like Giants. Like, think about the people liking the Great Khali.
People
Remember that
liked the Great Khali.
people loved the Great Khali. People just like big giants. I don't know for what reason. I think they move slow and everything they do looks fake. But like I I don't care for this. I don't even need them to waste my time. And that's what I felt when this started. You're wasting my time right now, right? And
Yep.
and and that's why I said stick to Rampage. I would not care at all if you were just on Rampage, cutting promos, doing whatever you need to do. Because you know what? Rampage could act like Ring of Honor if it wanted to. Because I just don't care right now about. I'm more concerned about the elites and what they're up to. I don't care about Sanam Singh and his group. And as I said again, the sucky part is Jay Lethal is stuck with them now, right?
Yes.
Like they just don't know what to do with this guy, and he's just stuck. So this is where my confusion is happening. So you give him that big win, and then what?
Yeah,
Then what?
exactly. Then he
Right?
challenges for the TNT title and loses, and then what?
Oh, and I'm not sure if you gave a big or not a big, but if you did a recap of Battle of the Belts,
No.
AEW needs to like rethink their branding. It's not Battle of the Belts, it's Battle for the Belts, because there weren't champion versus champion here or anything like that. It was just that, hey, we're fighting for those belts, and also no belts changed hands. What a waste of time to watch that show.
Well, it
What a
was the
waste of
lowest
time.
rated of all the Battle of the
Are
Belts so far.
are we surprised?
No.
Are we surprised? Anyways, that combined with this, I'm just kind of like, AW, what are you doing right now?
They
Like,
should do Battle of the Belts where they like have like an animation show where the belts are animated and the belts fight each other.
the
Battle of the
TNT belt
Belts. Yeah,
versus the World Championship belt, and they can't
exactly. And
fight
they
each
go
other.
at it. You know, they could do it in like, claymation or something. It'd be
Oh
great.
man. Oh yeah, that's my thoughts. I just didn't care for it.
Yeah. Yeah, those are my thoughts as well.
Oh, and
Like,
also FTR is returning tonight.
yeah.
That's their return.
I know exactly. That's my whole point to this segment was wait, FTR's return is to come out and help out Wardlow.
Wardlow.
They're just Wardlow's adjuncts now.
Yeah.
Like, what
Yeah.
are they gonna go for the trios titles? Oh God, no! Please no! Can we stop having FTR associated with Wardlow today?
Like that, you know, there are AEW tag team champions that FTR could come out and talk to, like, those things exist, right?
Wait. There's tag team champions. Where were they?
Oh my, good point, Bill. Where were they?
Yeah, yeah. Because I didn't see them, and I didn't see
No,
FTR talk about them or challenge them, or even know if they have a match at All Out yet, or if they're even building to a match at
that's what I
All Out
thought was
yet.
going to happen. Was a
Hmm.
build to All Out saying FDR challenges
Hmm.
Swerve in our
Well,
glory,
they
right?
are they are going to appear on Rampage
So
in a
maybe,
promo, so
maybe.
maybe we're going to get something
Okay,
there. But
okay,
yeah, there was no Swerve in Our Glory on tonight's show.
yeah.
So after that, Tony is backstage with the Jericho Appreciation Society. And of course, Daddy Magic says, "Pipe down, Giovanni." He's wearing his lucky red. Mox, it's been a hell of a run, but it ends tonight. Angelo Parker comes in and says, "Tonight in the Jericho Championship Appreciation Party, we have a fondue and some bubbly. And it's time for the AEW Galaxy to appreciate us." Then Daniel Garcia cuts in and he's like, "I own you, Brian Danielson. I sent you back to do your gardening again. You should be thanking me. I'm the Dragon Slayer." And then some woman walks by and Hannah goes, "Hey,
Hey,
you don't think he's the Dragon Slayer? I'm going to choke you
choke you
out." And
out.
she chokes out this random woman who walked by. Anna Jay is amazing now.
And she officially changed her name to Anna JAS now.
JAS, yes. Anna JAS. Sorry.
So
Sorry, Anna.
the, these guys, like, honestly, the best thing that happened to them is getting put up with Chris Jericho. Like
Yep.
Chris Jericho is probably one of the best managers that there is right now, right,
Hmm.
for these young stars. um Daddy Magic and Cool Hand Ange Parker,
Yes.
like these two are they're such clowns. Like the whole appreciate us,
Yep.
right? Like everything they do is total mockery of WWE, right? And I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. I'm there for. It's funny that Daniel Garcia is the Dragon Slayer, and next week it's brought by
Oh.
the House of the Dragon, the new thing for
Hmm.
Game of Thrones. And I'm
My,
like, sorry, go ahead. What were you
my
gonna say?
my reaction was not for the show. It was for the
I
match.
know, I know, I
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I know, I know
Yeah.
exactly. You're that, but what I was gonna say is that it makes sense. The American Dragon, the Dragon Slayer, everything. This all kind of makes sense right now, right? So, interesting match. Apparently, Brian Danielson is cutting a promo on Rampage as well.
Hmm.
So that's something I want to check out.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, these promos, like, honestly, I never get sick of their promos, and that's a good thing. Like, they're so funny, so ridiculous, and it just works. It just works.
You have to be careful because if you don't like their promos, Anna JAS will choke you
She
out.
will choke me out. She will choke me out. And
No.
Anna Jay, I don't like promos. I don't like it. Please choke me out. Choke me out.
Nice try. Yeah, no, I also absolutely love this promo. It was great. I mean, seriously, fondouche. That was great. We've got some fondouche in the back. Oh my God. Yeah, no, these guys are awesome. Daniel Garcia, he's the best.
He is the best.
You know,
He's so good.
and this brings us to only 9 o'clock.
Yeah, a lot of things
These
happen.
dynamites, oh my God,
A
man.
lot of things.
Okay, we move on to Ricky Starks versus Aaron Solo, and they recap briefly why this match is even happening because the factory offered to have Starks join them, offered him protection from Hobbs. He said no. They point out that Starks and Solo were former tag team partners on a few occasions. The ref tosses the factory out early. There's a back and forth start until Solo beats him down in the corner with some chops and stomps. But Starks comes back with some rights, a jawbreaker, a top rope springboard DDT. His Rochambeau is blocked with a Hurricane Rana, but then Starks soon gets a spear on him, and it's over. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, it was a good match. This is what I was talking about. Like Aaron Solo, he's a good wrestler,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, he's no Ricky Starks. Let's be real here. He's no Ricky Starks. The spear, I was like, oh my God, they mess up on the spear a little bit, but no, overall, like good match. I thought it did its job. Again, fortunately, Aaron Solo, the jobber. It's kind of building like Ricky Stark says he's a face. Like he's a good guy, and this is like he would be he's an awesome. The thing is with Ricky Starks as well is that he can still be that cocky, arrogant person and be total face, like the Rock,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's my comparison. He has the charisma of the Rock, right?
Oh,
He
some
does. No, he
people will
does.
be
No,
very mad at you saying that.
hey, whatever. He has a charisma of the Rock. He really does. Like, you know what? If anyone's doubting me, go watch Ricky Starks and tell me he does not remind you of the young Rock, right? Not that the young Rock was any good, but like, what do you know what I mean? Like a younger version of the Rock. He has it. He has it. And I'm gonna say it. A better wrestler than the Rock. Let's just be real right now. This guy's a better wrestler than the Rock.
That's not
Leaps,
hard.
leaps and bounds better wrestler than the Rock. So this kid has it. So I can see him be that cocky. Like, look at the way he dresses. Tell me he doesn't look like the Rock with his like his shirts half buttoned up, the sunglasses on, cutting those promos. You tell me that's not the Rock right there. All right.
Yeah, he
I'll be
really does have the
I
Rocky
I
Maivia thing
rest
going.
my case.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right. But yeah, great match. I mean, it was quick. It was like, it
yeah,
it, it ended really fast.
yeah. It was fine. It did what
Yeah.
it needed to.
Yeah.
I like Ricky Starks.
Yeah,
But
so do
then
I.
then Camarado heads to the ring with a chair. He swings, but he completely misses, so Starks spine busters him,
Yeah.
which of course was a call out to Hobbs.
Hmm.
But Aaron Solo jumps him. Starks then throws Solo into Camarado and escapes the factory into the crowd.
The crowd, yeah.
This apparently really angers Hobbs, who destroys a TV in the back.
They're you know what? Like, if
Mm-hmm.
anything, these guys did learn from Taz, right? Like
Yep.
Taz did help them because they're just awesome, both of them. Like Hobbs being this like giant like monster versus the smaller guy who can he beat him? Will he beat him? Kind of thing. Like, yeah, no, this is good. This is great. They're continuing the storyline, which
Yep.
which they should be.
Exactly. Speaking of storylines, I guess, what a segue. Lexi Nair is in the back with the Gun Club and Billy Gunn. And Billy is talking to them, telling them they need to toughen up. How in one night could you ruin the match that made me famous? I had no idea that dumpster matches made Billy Gunn famous, but somehow I'm
It
not
makes sense. It
surprised.
makes
It
sense.
made sense, yes. So Stokely shows up and he tells Billy Gunn to go to catering. And then he tells the Guns, you need to take your career more seriously. And he pulls out his card. Billy grabs the card from him and chases him off, and he tells the Gun Club, listen, I made you guys a match for Rampage. Then Danhausen comes in and says, it's me and the big bearded fellow. And Austin Gunn says, don't touch me. I had no idea who Danhausen was referring to.
Yeah, the big bearded fellow. I don't know who that is.
They mention it later when they go through the matches. Do you know who
Oh
it
yeah, yeah.
is?
Who's
Eric
who's
Redbeard. Did you
so,
know
okay?
he's with AEW?
No, I did not know he was at AEW. I thought he
Because
was
he
doing like
showed up.
one-off
Exactly.
appearances, and maybe this is a one-off appearance as well. I don't know. Like, again, who cares about that match?
Why is
I
Eric
know.
Redbeard getting TV time when you have such great wrestlers who are not? I mean, I don't like it when people sort of like, why I'm not in TV, blah blah blah. But when something like this happens and it's like legitimate, like why?
When you
Why?
have the opportunity to sign a big name, like
Mm,
I'm not talking Eric Redbeard here, okay,
mhm,
Redbread. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking big names. If you have a chance to sign a Miro, a
mhm.
Malachi, you sign them. Even if you say your roster is stacked and you don't know who, no, you sign those guys. Who the hell cares about Eric Redbeard?
Yeah,
Nobody.
right.
Okay.
And okay, like Danhausen, as we've seen, when used kind of in an interesting comedy role with the right team, can be good. This is not it.
No.
Although, the Austin gun, don't touch me to him at the end was kind of funny. But it just, yeah, I don't care about this. I don't care about it at all, and I wonder why it's going to be on my television set.
Why wouldn't this match be on Dark?
Yeah, I don't know, because I'm just gonna fast forward this match. I
Yeah.
couldn't care less.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, anyway, then we go back and we have Orange Cassidy with the best friends, and he apparently called for this interview because he wants to show everyone something. And he stands there, and the best friends hold up their hands, and he starts to high five them in sequence. And that was it. That's what he wanted to show everybody. He can high five them in sequence. But then Ari Davari comes in to make a pitch to him and says, he pitches to him, you should be joining us. It'll help you out. And then Orange Cassidy just says to him, whatever your question is, the answer is no. And Ari Davari says, so that's your final answer? That's fine. You're going to find out what happens when someone says no. So we have the classic, I tried to recruit you, you said no, so now I'm going to beat you up feud.
Yeah, well, Ari Davari's whole character is he's the trust fund
Mm-hmm.
baby, or whatever it is, right? So he has all this money. I'm like, I don't care. Like you do whatever. Anyways,
Yep.
um, yeah, Orange Cassidy, One Punch Man himself there, like he's just hilarious. Like this is something Saitama would do, so
Yep.
I totally get it. I laugh every time he does stuff like this.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't I'm there for Orange Cassidy. I don't care about Ari Davari.
No. No, he hasn't done anything to make me care about him.
No.
Orange Cassidy always does things to make me care about him. So all this says to me is that the best friends will beat the Trustbusters and go on to face the Dark Order in a trios match, and that's going to be great.
Yep.
So
Agreed.
yeah, I'm down for that. It's 9:10. It's time for Madison Rayne versus Jade Cargill with Stokely and Hogan in her corner. Jade mocks Madison Rayne. Madison Rayne drop kicks Cargill out of the ring. There's a Hurricane Rana to Jade on the outside. Kira distracts Rayne. Jade does a spear. She suplexes Rayne in from the apron. Jade does some push-ups, gorilla press slam. I got more interested in the community. Look, I'm doing digital marketing right now. I'm watching commercials in a whole different light. Okay. So I was like, man, commercials, these are cool. And then there was a suplex for two. Rayne with a jawbreaker strikes Inzagiri to her shoulder, a hanging net breaker. Rayne does a flipping net breaker from the second rope. That was a pretty major miss, but Jade sold it anyway. A high DDT for two. Kira Hogan gets on the apron, and Jade pump kick completely misses at Madison Rayne and also completely misses Kira Hogan, but Kira Hogan sold it anyway. Couple of back and forth, some reversals going for finishers. Jade gets jaded in. It's over. Someone had a 36-0 sign in the crowd for Jade Cargill. Dude, really? Really? That was your match.
Yeah. And then Athena came in at
Yeah,
the end.
Athena
No
came
one
out and
cares.
texts Jade and
Yeah,
blah,
no
blah,
one
blah,
cares.
tosses the belt to her,
Yeah.
and that was the end of that segment.
Yeah, I didn't care for this match. Again, as I said, like after last week when we were like, "Wow, what a great match they had last week for the women's division. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
they should do more of this."
Mm-hmm. No, no, they came back with this. They came back with this. And I was saying in the pre-show, Madison Rayne is probably well past her prime. She's a great coach.
Yeah,
I don't necessarily think she's where she needs to be to carry Jade Cargill because
agreed.
Jade Cargill needs a lot of carrying. I don't even know if that missed neck breaker
Hmm.
was Madison Rayne's fault. Jade
Yep.
Cargill looked out of position badly.
Yep.
So, I'm not even going to blame Madison Rayne for that one. I'm going to blame Jade Cargill because I like to blame Jade Cargill for things. So, yeah, she's terrible in the ring, and I really wish they'd stick that belt on someone else, like
Someone
Athena, for example. Just get the match over with, and
which
I can go
I
back to
yeah,
not caring.
they're probably gonna have it at the pay-per-view and she'll lose the belt there,
Yeah.
which means you got a couple more weeks of Jade Cargill.
Great. Speaking of great, Tony Storm's in the back with Tony Schiavone and Rosa. Chris Statlander's injured. So you know what that means? Tony Storm is the #1 contender. Rosa said, "This happens all the time. It's not what I want, but it is what it is." And then Tony Storm says to her, "I didn't plan on this either, but my main goal is to be the women's world champ." Rosa says, "We'll talk about the match another time." And
Remember
then
when I
there was
said that Thunder Rosa needs to stop cutting promos? Like
yes.
both her and Tony Storm both need to just stop cutting promos. Like just stop, just stop.
Mhm.
Like Britt just needs to come in you know, just they need to come in and just cut them off every single time. Like, did
Yes.
we forget that Britt and Hater beat them last week? Did we forget that already?
Apparently, we have totally forgot that because now it's just about Tony Storm and Thunder Rosa.
Yeah, none of this makes sense. I was like, okay, creative. I get it. There's a transition now from Tony Khan to everyone else. But guys, come on, keep up with what's happening here. Don't forget what happened. Don't be WWE. Don't forget what happened the last 5 minutes, basically. All right.
Yeah, I think this was their way of answering Chris Statlander's injury, but still. Ugh.
I guess.
Yeah, then we get a bunch of matches announced, which included the mentioning of Eric Redbeard taking on the Gun Club. You have Beardhausen, they're calling it.
Go Gun Club.
Yeah, go Gun Club. And I'm still fast forwarding the match. Anyway, it's only 9:27 and the main event starts. So we have Chris Jericho, the Lionheart, taking on Jon Moxley.
Mhm.
And Jericho comes out as the Lionheart, complete with music, the hair, the vest, the tights. The last time these two fought, the announcers point out Mox beat Jericho for the belt. Mox takes almost his entire entrance music song to get to the ring again. He
I told you
stops
because he got lost.
continuously. Yeah,
He's
he
like
gets lost. He has
he's copying Chris Jericho
You're
from the
right.
past too.
You're right. He had no idea where the ring was. He got lost 4 times on the way to the ring. And then finally, like that's what he was yelling about the whole time to the ring. He's like, "Can someone just tell me where the ring is?" Okay, there we go. So he gets to the ring. Fine. They give each other the finger, and then the match opens up. And Jericho opens it with an arm drag
Two arm
and then
drags.
an arm drag. And all I'm thinking is, this isn't the Lionheart. This is the man of
Yeah.
1,004 holds with the list, right?
Arm
Arm
bar.
drag, arm bar. Yeah, it was pretty great. Anyway, they get into a knuckle lock. Crowd is divided between them. There's a lot of back and forth holds. They counter each other's finishers. Jericho finally takes him down into this Yave hold submission, and then this other submission that I have no idea what the name for it is.
Mhm.
There's a chop exchange after that. Mox jaws at Jericho, but Jericho gets him down and then tears out his ear ring and tosses him out of the ring. Now, this is supposed to be Mox bleeding only from the ear. The announcers at one point mentioned, "Oh, there's a lot of blood and it's all from his ear. Ears bleed a lot." But he goes out of the ring and, like Kel Surprise, he is covered in blood.
Blood. Yep.
He's holding his ear, but man, you can tell his forehead is badly cut. So, I mean, his ear had blood all over it. I'll
Yep.
admit that. But man, that forehead was badly cut. Anyway,
Agreed.
so Jericho works him on the outside, including, and then throws him back in. He puts a camel clutch on him, and does a "come on, baby" cover on him. Jericho does a back suplex, kicks him in the face. Mox comes back. Jericho goes into an underhook backbreaker. Lion salt for 2. Mox gets him into a Juji Gatami arm breaker, but Jericho gets him into an arm stretch. You're getting the hint here. There's a lot of back and forth submission holds. Mox into an ankle lock, German suplex. Jericho German lariats in the corner. Hurricane run off the top rope for a 2 count. Jericho does the knees off the post. He like knocks Mox's knees on the post, and he does the figure 4 around the post at one point. But when he gets back in the ring, Mox gets him locked in a crossface. Jericho rolls out, but gets him into the walls of Jericho. Now, this was a very long walls of Jericho spot. He's got him in it, right in the center of the ring. The announcer's going, "Oh, Mox is on the verge of passing out. He's going to pass out. And we got to go to commercial." Okay. Anyway, Mox at one point, he was in the walls of Jericho, and he spent almost the entire commercial break in the walls of Jericho. He gives two fingers to someone in the crowd. I don't know who the heck he was giving the fingers to, but he almost breaks out at one point. But Jericho gets the walls back on him for the rest of the commercial break. Once they come back, Mox finally gets to the rope. Jericho goes for a springboard drop kick, but gets thrown to the outside. Mox does a diving double sledge to Jericho, classic move. Punches to the head, but Jericho comes out with a code breaker to Mox when he tries to go off the top rope for a near fall. He's yelling "stay down" at Mox and takes the turnbuckle pads off the two corners. This starts this weird distraction sequence where, Aubrey is now so enthralled by these turnbuckles being taken off that she completely misses Sammy Guevara throw a bat in and over the ring. He
Overthrows the bat.
totally missed the ring. He totally overthrew the bat. Jericho had to go outside and get it, and Aubrey is just so distracted. She sees none of this. Man, those were some fascinating turnbuckles, man. Anyway, he comes in and cracks Mox with the bat, but it's only a near fall. Mox puts him in the inside cradle for two. Mox rear choke, but Jericho throws Mox into the turnbuckle. Judas effect for two, because Mox kicks out of the Judas effect, the first person who has ever kicked out of it. Jericho goes into the buckle after he misses a belt shot. There's a rear choke into a bulldog choke, some elbows to the head, but Jericho reverses it, elbows to the jaw. He gets the lion tamer on. At this point, I'm thinking, maybe he might win with this. He's got the knee on the head and everything, but Mox breaks out of that lion tamer like it was nothing. He spent like 5 minutes in the walls of Jericho, but the lion tamer, that's a chump move. Elbow shots to the back of the head, bulldog choke, Jericho taps, Mox is the champ. There are still 6 minutes left in the show, but we'll cover that after.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the match?
There's that saying, it's under promise, over deliver, right? You under promise. Never over promise and under deliver, okay? Okay? This is my whole thing. Like, you hype this matchup as much as you can. Oh, the Lionheart's back. Like, all the stuff is happening. And you get to the match, and you're right. It's like slow thing. Like, remember we were talking about punches? Like we talked about the Christian versus Matt Hardy match last week, right? And there were better moves in this match. I'm not going to say that it was as bad as that match, but you're like, when the walls of Jericho were on Mox throughout the entire commercial break, all I can think was rest, hold. Where's that sign when you need it the most, right? Now, as I said, blood is not needed in every match, but apparently for Jon Moxley, it's needed in every single match he's in, right? He needs to bleed, or it doesn't show how tough he is. I was more concerned when Chris Jericho ran into the ring post, right? Because you saw the blood gushing out of his head, and at the end you see Aubrey give him a towel. That's how bad it was, right? The match itself was, to me, honestly, okay. Like, this is the way you're getting. Like, okay, let's talk about the match itself. Everything about it was just okay. Here's one of my biggest problems about these matches. If you're going to have finishers, don't have people kick out of them. Jericho could have done any one of his older moves and not the Judas effect. And if Mox kicked out, I would have been like, you know what? Awesome. No, Mox runs into the exposed turnbuckle, gets a Judas effect, and still kicks out of it.
After sitting in the walls of Jericho for 5 minutes.
After sitting in the walls of Jericho. I didn't like, they hyped this match for weeks now. And I felt let down. I'm not going to lie. I felt let down. I felt like I was watching two old men wrestle, and they're not old. Like, Jericho, you heard me say a couple weeks ago, I was so impressed with the way Jericho was wrestling. What happened?
Yep.
Like, what is this?
Yep. Well, I mean, I said in the opening, right? I was like, oh, I'm looking forward to this match. These two guys are at the top of their game. It's going to be a good match. We're going to see some good stuff. And I didn't hate this match. Okay. There were some really good spots. I don't mind a good submission match. Right. For me, it was really good up until the point that the walls of Jericho were on for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That was when the match turned for me because it was like, okay, so he's got the walls on it, but Mox didn't really sell that at
No.
all. It was like you were in the walls of Jericho for 5 minutes and you're just gonna go, eh?
Yeah, you jump
Like,
up and your legs are fine and everything like
yeah,
that.
everything's fine. And even JR was trying to sell, well, he's gonna like he's lost the blood in his legs, and then all that lactic acid is gonna be there now. I don't know if it's Excalibur saying that. Someone was saying or Taz. One of them was talking about the lactic acid in Mox's
Hmm.
legs, and instead what we get is, oh, Mox is pretty much fine. Everything that Jericho did to him, he just came back from. There was
Yeah.
no like, okay, so his ear got hurt, and he
Hmm.
held that for a little while in the beginning, but there was no in-match story
No,
here at
none.
all. It was just
None.
two guys beating on each other, and I'm like, well, where'd the story go? I didn't get any real sense of emotion from either of these guys. The most emotion either one of them show is giving each other the finger,
Yeah.
right? I mean, what the hell happened? Because they both like hyped up promos, like you said, they totally overpromised and underdelivered,
Yeah.
and that was the problem. The story was missing. It
Yeah.
was just missing. And, okay, Mox has the belt. And I get why Mox got to keep the championship because, the way it ended made total sense. But yeah, the match itself, it was It was,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I wouldn't even know where to rank this on matches of the night because
No.
it was definitely not the number one. It was definitely not the number two.
No.
I wonder if it was even the number three.
Yeah.
So
That's fair.
anyway, but we had 6 minutes left when it was done. And the Jericho Appreciation Society at that point, the 6 minutes left, I'm like,
Something's
are we
happening.
getting Kenny? Are we getting Kenny? Is he gonna like challenge him now? Is that what's gonna happen here? No. Jericho Appreciation Society comes running down. At this point, I went, I'm not getting Kenny. The Blackpool Combat Club, the Blackpool
Cubs.
Combat Club comes out with Ortiz and Eddie, and then the rest of the JS. So you get this big. I'm like, is this how we're going off the air?
Hmm.
Seriously, this big mass beatdown thing in the ring again? And then the static hits, and Cult of Personality starts, and I am suddenly a super, super happy guy because CM Punk comes out and he goes through the Jericho Appreciation Society like they are made out of paper, as he should, because he is the undisputed AEW World Heavyweight Champion. He leaves Mox and so this leaves Mox in the ring with Punk. They have a stare down to a fairly light "Holy crap" chant. Please substitute a word for crap. Mox shows no respect to Jericho, gives him the finger, shoulder bumps him, but Punk first sits down cross-legged in the ring. He yells, "There is one champ," and then
Hmm.
he's on the ropes, showboating into the crowd. Show goes off the air.
Yeah. And also jumping on the one foot that he broke. He just kept hopping around on top of it just to show
Yes,
that
that's
he's
true.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, this honestly, I did not see this coming. I did not see, because to me, I thought for sure, if anything, CM Punk it was coming back at the pay-per-view, right?
Mm-hmm.
I did not expect him back this early, to
No.
be completely honest with you. Now, obviously, is he cleared to wrestle? Maybe, maybe not. Like, it looks like he is. If he's hopping on the damn foot, like, I think he's fine. I'm shocked. I like, yeah, I would have preferred Kenny coming out and saying, I have some business to take care of, but I'm coming after that belt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I did not expect Punk. I even
No.
like when the static hit, I was like, it took me a second. I'm like, wait, whose music is that? The minute the static hit, I'm like, what? And then the minute Cult of Personality hit, I'm like, oh my god, CM Punk is back,
Yep.
right? Um, and yeah, then I was like, okay, I get why Jericho lost now. Like this all
Yes.
makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So
It totally made sense.
this saved the match. This ending saved the match because CM Punk's back, and that's it.
And he's going to kill John Moxley.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that. I love that there's only one champ.
Yeah.
I was like,
Exactly.
yes,
Exactly. It's my boy.
yes.
It's my boy. So look, I got one of my two boys back tonight.
Fair.
So I am happy. My straight edge brother. We are good.
And
So
this is what I was talking about earlier tonight. I said this card, it may be the best pay-per-view AEW has had this year with
it's
all these
possible.
returns they're having,
It is quite
right?
We shall
And think
see.
about
We'll
that.
see how it builds up.
Will Ospreay as well. So all I gotta say. That's all I
Yep.
want to say on that.
Yes, exactly. I mean, we had Jericho, we have Will Ospreay. Jericho. I meant to say CM Punk, but we do have Jericho. And now he's hopefully done with Moxley. But anyway,
Yeah, hopefully.
yep. Well, you know, did anything on that show for you reach the Omega level?
No, no.
Okay. For me, I got to tell you, CM Punk coming back, for me, that's Omega level.
I was gonna say, I'm like, is that your mega level? I
That
can
it
I
totally
understand. I
is.
get
It
that. I
totally
get
is.
that.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
shocked. Even me, I was shocked when he showed
Yep.
up.
And like I said, he's one of my two boys, him and
Yep.
Omega.
Fair enough.
So,
Fair
yep,
enough.
there we go. There we go. So that about wraps up our review of Quake by the Lake. But before we go, it is time for our phrase that summarizes the evening. Krishna.
Phrase that summarizes the evening. I'm gonna say I wouldn't call it a quake. Maybe it has some of those after effects, like little shakes, but I think the biggest quake was the return of the champion himself, CM Punk. So again, shocked, but I wouldn't call tonight's episode Quake by the Lake.
Good point. Good point. I wouldn't call it a Quake by the Lake either. It was a slight tremor by the lake.
Tremor,
Yeah, I
exactly.
mean, Lucha Brothers and La Faccion Ingobernables. That was a good Quake.
Fantastic, yeah.
But yeah, my phrase that summarizes the evening is look in my eyes. What do you see? The cult of personality.
I thought you were really gonna say there's only one champion.
That's not bad either. That would also be acceptable as a phrase that summarizes the evening. But anyway, we have gone on long tonight. A
We
lot
have. We've
happened,
rambled.
and it is that time. And as the great one always says, goodbye, everybody, and good night. Bang.
Good night, everyone.
I promise we'll have Kenny next time.